Yippee-Ki-Yay, Mother.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to another edition of Yippee-Ki-Yay Mother Podcast. I'm Ralph Quartucci.
Hi, I'm Sean Paul Murphy.
I'm Debbie Murphy.
I'm Michelle Wojciechowski.
And I'm Brad Barowie.
I'm John Quartucci with Baby Yoda.
I'm Drew Gould.
Well, hey guys. Everybody have a good week?
Hey.
Another week.
It was great till my uncle died.
So we're gonna start on a high note.
Oh, that was okay.
Yeah,
well, we'll dedicate this show
sorry
to
to
your
hear
uncle.
that.
My uncle, Abbas de Birsiagi, my wife and I are toasting him. We're drinking real wine.
I get a little hot cocoa. I will toast him also.
Miller Lite for
He
him.
was a great man,
Wonderful.
Baltimore City school teacher, and a native of Iran. He was on their national soccer team. He traveled the world, and he was a chess grandmaster, and he was a hell of a guy.
Well, we're sorry to hear about your loss.
Yes.
Like I said, we'll dedicate our 42 viewers to him on this show. So I'm sure that'll be
Or over 7,000 if it's
that'll
Young
be as big as the
Frankenstein.
You know, the soccer thing's fine. I heard he played chess as well, but dedicating this
Grandmaster.
show to him, he hit the mother load. So there
Well,
you go.
if you want, Ralph, why don't you cut that tribute into the Young Frankenstein episode?
Since that's the one
you'll get
everybody's
a lot more
watching.
viewers.
Good idea. Good idea.
And Ralph, we consider you the grandmaster of Yippee-Ki-Yay.
Okay, well, here we go. Speaking of which, tonight's episode is a participation award because I didn't win the holiday roulette, but they allowed me to bring my movie anyway. But before we get into that, let's talk about what we did this week. Let's start with what we saw this week. I'm sorry. Anything you want to talk about? One or two? Wojo and Brad, what do you got?
Well, we watched A Christmas Vacation. What did we watch? Else Christmas.
You watch what?
Oh, we watched Home Alone.
We watched
Ah.
Home Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love
And
Home Alone.
then we finished watching Ratchet, which is very good and so set up for the second season. Sarah Paulson.
Ratchet. What is Ratchet?
It
Nurse
stars
Ratchet.
Sarah Paulson.
Oh,
and
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Ratchet,
she is playing Nurse Ratchet.
Yeah, because it didn't get great reviews the first season in general out there in the world.
This is
So
the
you guys-
first season, isn't it?
Right. I'm
Yeah,
saying
it is
you
the
liked
first
it.
season.
So you enjoyed the first season?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be ready for the gore because it reminds me a lot of
American Horror.
American Horror Story. You know, they do a lot of gore, but I mean, the people who were in it were fantastic. Sharon Stone was in it, really good. It's just I liked it.
Good. Sharon Stone's a good actress, by the way. If you get to kind
She
of
is.
downplay a little bit, but she's pretty good. Okay, John, what do you got?
Good actress. So
I
I
said
watched.
good.
I watched two things this week, so I'm going to take a page from Drew's square. I watched finally all 10 episodes of The Mandalorian dropped. I finally watched the whole series, and
Nice.
it was awesome. In the last episode,
Don't say anything we haven't watched yet.
I won't, but I will tell you this. Other than the original three movies, it's the best Star Wars thing there is. And apparently they're going to build up a whole universe based off that show. John Favreau is going to be the showrunner.
Wow.
It was awesome. It really paid tribute to the old movies and the fans and also new people on it. So that's the first thing. And I also watched Cobra Kai. Has anyone seen that?
Oh, so good.
It is great. And William Zabka is awesome in that show.
Explain,
Way better than Ralph
explain for
Macchio.
people who don't know what that is. What that
Okay,
is.
Cobra Kai is based on the Karate Kid, the original Karate Kid. It's 30 years after, and it's how their lives went different paths based on what happened in the movie. And the blonde guy is trying to be the good guy, and it's their relationship, but it's funny. A lot of references to the 80s. In fact, a lot of the songs that were in the original movie are used in this, but modern versions of it. It's really good. And I even heard Elizabeth Shue might be back as Allie in the next season.
Wow.
It's so good. I'm telling
They
you.
kind of alluded
yeah,
to
they
that.
alluded.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, that's right. So I really recommend it. And I watched that in 2 days, and I watched The Mandalorian in one sitting because it was
you did.
awesome. I texted Drew at like, I think it was close 11:30 or something like that. It was late.
I was waiting. You said you were going to watch it on Sunday. I was like, I can't go to sleep.
He told me, he said, have you seen the finale? And I go, no. He goes, then I won't say anything, but we'll talk about it. And
Yeah,
I was
and
like,
also-
now I know why.
Yeah,
It
and
was
also
great.
stay off the internet if you haven't
Yeah,
seen
and I didn't. I
Yeah.
purposely did not, and I'm glad I didn't. And my wife who's not a huge science fiction fan, loves the show. She loves The Mandalorian. So anyway,
Good
that's
to know.
it. Yeah.
Excellent. So Rose is approved. We got Rose's approved.
Yes, Rose approved
Excellent.
it. Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Sean and Debbie, what do you got?
We watched the Bee Gees documentary, which
Oh,
was
I forgot.
yeah.
We did too.
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I had no idea that there was hate for the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was
well,
ridiculous. They're artists. They're like supreme.
I think
I
it's
mean,
their disco years.
Yeah,
of
that's
people
what it was.
I
really
love the
reacting.
disco scene.
Yeah, I know,
was
me
a
too, but
disco
that's what
geek.
everybody reacts to.
Yeah.
So what?
She
It was-
really got angry during the disco hating.
Oh,
Yeah,
pissed
no,
me
right.
off.
I hated
Yeah.
disco, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I always loved the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
I always thought they were great.
Well, they
I think
created
there's
me.
only
They
two there's only two albums of the disco era I will listen to. One is Saturday Night Live
Saturday Night Fever.
soundtrack, and Casablanca Records' greatest hits. To me, if you have those two records, that's all the disco you need. But it was an amazing story. I really liked their creative process, how they were. I really liked their relationship as brothers, and how it was a troubled relationship with brothers. We see it sometimes in podcasts. They definitely have goals and everything. But
well, there's
I
always a
strongly-
yeah.
And Drew was complaining about documentaries last week that overstayed their welcome. I think this one was like
perfect.
perfect length.
they got a great write-up.
I wanted more, but I was satisfied with what I got.
It was really well done. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
And
I
it was
haven't
2
seen it.
hours long, which is pretty
Oh, I could have.
for a single seat documentary, and it was great.
And the Bee Gees, that's like classical music? What is that?
Oh boy. No, okay. They're disco. No, they're not
He
disco,
knows
but
who Bee Gees
I
are.
know
variety
it
of
does.
stuff if you
I
watch
love
it.
the Bee Gees. I can't
Yeah.
wait to see that doc. I think they're fantastic.
By the way,
really
I
good.
don't want to get off track, but did you guys see Peter Jackson's doing a documentary on the Beatles?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Did you see
I
the
did see
trailer?
That
Yeah.
footage is he digitally restored the footage. It's unbelievable. They showed a clip of it. It wasn't a trailer. They showed a chunk of it, and it looks incredible and sounds incredible.
Is that
And
going to
it
be on
was happy.
streaming?
Yeah, they were happy because it's when they made "Come Together." I think the album was where they were breaking
No,
up.
yeah,
And
no, it was Get Back.
Get
Yeah.
Back. So they show them happy and having a good time, and nothing like you hear about all the problems they had. But the footage, because he did. I don't know if you saw that World War I movie that he did, the documentary.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
shall
that
not
was
grow old.
fantastic,
It
too.
was incredible how
Amazing.
they digitally restored everything. It was amazing. But the footage looks incredible. Anyway, I didn't mean to get off track.
All right.
Well, I do want to say one thing about the Peter Jackson thing. I was feeling a bit down yesterday because of death, COVID, or lack of a kitchen, this and that.
Sawdust.
And I was out somewhere and someone posted the Peter Jackson trailer. And, it's not a trailer, it's a sneak.
Yeah.
And it was just so happy to
Yeah.
watch. And, Beatle fanatics will tell you who have seen, because a lot of that stuff ended up on the internet, particularly all the audio, that if you wanted to make an entirely different film, I mean, if you've seen Let It Be, it's a very depressing movie. You're seeing a band breaking up. But people are like, if you show different stuff, it's an amazing movie and they
Yeah.
all love each other.
Well,
And,
it's
the trailer showed them loving
it's
each other.
56 hours of recordings that they have
Wow.
that he's
Wow.
piecing together. It's really is amazing. Sorry. Anyway,
Yeah.
All right. Good. Can't wait. Drew, what do you got?
So I'm looking at my list here. I actually looks like I watched 10 movies and finished the television series this week, including 2 Paul Schrader movies. But I'm only going to talk about one movie, John. Just one.
well,
I
that's
know.
disappointing.
I know. Well, we're running out of time this year. So. It's a movie that I wasn't super excited about. I would have seen it in the theater because it's clearly built for the theater. And that's Christopher Nolan's new movie, Tenant. It's hard to talk about it without giving away too much stuff because like a lot of these Christopher Nolan movies, there's puzzles. He's the guy that did Inception
Yeah.
and the Dark Knight trilogy and
Memento.
Interstellar. And at first, actually, I thought that it was about people renting apartments, and it turns out it's not. But that's kind of par for the course for a Christopher Nolan audio mix, I think. Anyway, it's hard to talk about it without pulling it apart too much. I'm glad that I saw it, but I'll bring it to the podcast in the future.
Well, did you like it?
Yes, but it's a big but because I run very hot and cold with
I
Christopher
like
Nolan,
big butts.
and you
I
cannot.
cannot lie.
I'm not gonna lie.
Let's talk about your
I'll
big
bring it
butt.
to an episode in the future.
I saw it.
You saw
Um,
Tenant
I did. And
at the movie theater?
No, streamed it. But I agree with I don't know how that movie would find a wide audience. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, because it's a Christopher Nolan movie. That's
Christopher.
Right.
No, it's Memento. You know, Memento was one of those. It kind of reminded me. Not anyway. Memento was complicated. What it was doing, and he went after this one's It's complicated. It's great. It's Christopher Nolan movies look fantastic. His set pieces are amazing, but I don't know how it's going to reach a wide audience. It seems a little too. I don't know. It's you're sitting there trying to figure out. And you're missing a lot of stuff because you're still trying to figure out what's going on. That's how I felt after I watched
Inception
it.
was like that. I mean,
yeah,
it was a lot like
And
that.
not to be confused with It's Complicated, which I believe starred Meryl Streep and Alec Baldwin.
Right, different,
That's right.
bad movie, but yeah,
also not good. But.
Or Love Actually.
That's a good one. I don't know why you're hating on that one.
It's just a
all
trope.
right. So I saw one thing. I'm going to talk about a Netflix thing that I watched. I got hyped up about it, and I realized a lot of movies are coming out now that probably weren't good enough to go in the movie theater, so they're sticking them on Netflix. And it's this movie called Ava with Jessica Chastain.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Where she plays kind of an assassin for hire with John Malkovich and Colin Farrell. And they got all these great people in it, and you just realize that it's kind of a mediocre. It just left me feeling nothing. It's supposed to be powerful woman who's she's doing a role that would normally go to a guy, a lone assassin who's great at his job. He's an ex-alcoholic, and they do all these tropes basically, and Gina Davis plays her mother, and it's like this soap opera around these assassination scenes, and it just kind of left me cold. It wasn't that great. And I love Jessica Chastain. Colin Farrell did that movie where he plays the assassin that's going to get assassinated. I forget Drew probably knows that one. In Bruges? In Bruges, yep. Which I just loved. and this one tried to kind of do some of that stuff, and you could tell they were trying. It just didn't work.
Well, it's by the people that did The Help. And watching The Help, I didn't think, oh my God, they should totally do an action movie.
Well, it's funny. I didn't realize that because there's a lot of scenes where they're sitting around talking to the mother, and there's these scenes with family that just come out of nowhere. They're just not in the right place. I don't know. They were trying a bunch of different things.
Gina Davis.
I was disappointed, even though it had a really, really great cast. I was disappointed in it too.
Gina Davis
you
is
saw
the
it?
mother.
Yeah.
She played the best. She wasn't an assassin, but she was an agent. What was that movie with Samuel Jackson?
The Long Good.
The Long Kiss Goodnight. Charlie Baltimore.
That was so good, and she was so good in it.
I love that.
Directed by her husband.
Writer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
that's an excellent Christmas film.
Yeah,
Randy
That's
Harlan.
an excellent Christmas film.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, speaking of
Matt.
Christmas film, we're to the participation award section of the show.
Yes.
And everyone took a vote, and let's go ahead, Sean.
Did we ask Wojo and Brad what they watched?
Yeah, you were sleeping
Yeah, we
through
could
that.
go back and edit it though, so it doesn't
I'm
sound
sorry,
like we
did I
did.
miss that?
You did.
Yes.
Like me to rewind? Put you in the rewind machine? They
Hi,
talked
I'm
about
Sean Paul Murphy.
Remember the whole nurse
I'm
ratcheting?
Paul.
Yeah, you finished.
I think because the intro
Yeah,
took
I
30
know,
yeah,
minutes.
listen,
I
Sean,
think that's
Sean.
why.
You had a tough day. We can't, nobody's
Yeah.
blaming
Yeah.
you. So
Okay.
We
we
can fix it. Ralph, we can
Understandable.
fix that in post, right?
we'll fix it all in
We'll
post.
fix that.
Next week you can tear into me again. It'll be fine.
I'll do that.
It's all good.
All right. So today's movie that I got to bring as a participation award is this fantastic Christmas film. Family favorite for everybody. I think you guys have all seen this, right?
Yep.
Yes.
I'm only going to show. I'm not going to show a
Yeah, we had to
trailer.
watch for this.
I want to show the clip that epitomizes the movie for me and for Christmas, the way I feel at the end of Christmas every year.
Where do you think you're going? Nobody's leaving. Nobody's walking out on this fun old-fashioned family Christmas. No, we're all in this together. This is a full-blown 4-alarm holiday emergency here. We're gonna press on, and we're gonna have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny Kaye. And when Santa squeezes his fat white ass down that chimney tonight, he's gonna find the jolliest bunch of assholes this side of the nut house. You're goofy. Don't piss me off, Art.
The movie written by John Hughes, obviously not directed by John Hughes.
Directed by Jeremiah Chechik. May I tell you a story about him?
Oh, wait, do I need to line up the
Do we
bell?
get the bell ready?
Yes, ring the bell. Back in the olden days, when I was in advertising and a producer, Jeremiah Chechik was an incredibly hot commercial director back in the late 80s. Before this movie came out, I was instructed by one of the art directors at the agency I worked for to get Chechik's reel in the series, we always wanted to work with top directors, but also he had done some spots we wanted to rip, to use scenes from, to do our rip-o-matics, where we make simulated commercials to get clients to make commercials. So I think they knew what we wanted. So I called Jeremiah Chechik's company. I think he was in Minnesota or something. And they're like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "Smith, Burke and Azam." "Haven't heard of you." I go, we want to copy your reel. I don't think we're going to send it. Who are your clients? And I want to tell you something. As a producer, the thing that was all, and Drew could probably talk to his wife, people are sending you reels all the time when you're with a major agency. And here's some people, they're not going to send us a reel. And I'm like, well, we have Playboy, we have Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino. And they go, okay, do you have any boards for us? We'll send you the reel if you have boards, a script. And I'm like, well, we haven't got a script for it yet, but, we were hoping to show you a reel to get the client interested in working with you. And they're like,
in your work. Oh, in his work. In your director's work.
They're like, okay, we'll send you the reel. I mean, we were we were named top agency in the Southeast that year. And Chechik's company wouldn't even send us their reel. I had to beg for his reel. That's how hot he was. I think the spot we really wanted was, you may remember it was a Michelob spot with Frank Sinatra with the song "The Way You Look Tonight." Fantastic commercial. And we wanted to use shots from it and something we were doing. So, I mean, they knew we were, we ended up I think we bid them on a Trump Hotel spot, but they were way too expensive when we went with someone else.
All right, so you never worked with him?
No, but I was given the cold shoulder by his.
I mean, if I told those stories, I'd be ringing the bell.
That's not really. That's not worth a bell.
How many times I was blown off?
Bell.
I think that's definitely worth a ring.
I mean, I've been blown off many times okay, whatever. This is actually his first film.
Yes,
that he directed, and I had a lot of fun listening to the cast. Everybody but Chevy Chase did the commentary. I just watched it right before the podcast because I wanted to get some insight, and I had more fun listening to those guys talking about the film than actually watching the film. I normally, I love director commentaries, but sometimes I feel like they get a little too self-congratulatory. They love to just say how smart they are, and everybody they work with is the greatest writer, the greatest production, the greatest shooter, all this stuff. They did a little bit of that because they always have to do that because it's, they're creating film. They're selling the film. But they really got into the fact of how much they just enjoyed working on the film together, especially with all those old actors that came in, the John Randolph and the Eli Wallach, I think, and the woman who played Betty Boop. And the other thing that blew my mind is that guy, the older guy, what's his name?
William Hickey.
Was 54 years old when he did that film. 54. Okay, that blows my mind.
Yeah, but Eli Wallach wasn't in this movie, just so everyone knows.
Yeah, who was the?
I don't know who you're talking about, so I can't tell you.
He looks like Eli Wallach. Oh, you're kidding me.
Well,
I'm sorry.
E.G. Marshall.
E. Marshall. Yes.
Yeah, looks just like Eli Wallach. Yeah, good call on that one.
And even Randy Quaid sounded normal on the commentary. He was a lot of fun.
Oh, he did the commentary?
Yeah.
It must have been a long time ago.
I was going to say.
This is when he wasn't totally off the thing. And Beverly D'Angelo was on there. She was fantastic. And I really enjoyed listening to them as I watched it again. And it just made me love the film even more. And they really got hung up on the scene we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago in the attic. The Super 8 scene and the movie scene, and how that kind of made everybody feel like that this is basically they were making a family film with a little bit of R-rated stuff in there, and how much they enjoyed making the film. And I find this film, it's become I told you guys, my two films that I watch now. Love Actually in this one. Christmas Story I love, but it's just been overplayed. I can't do that anymore. And it just made me love this film again. And that scene I showed you is my favorite, when he drops the F-bomb about Danny Kaye. It just summed up how everybody feels at Christmas. It's just like, we're going to have fun, damn it. It's going to be fun no matter what happens. And then you have an early Julia Louis-Dreyfus before she hit it big. They were making comments that she has more money than any of them now because she hit it. Seinfeld hit after this film for her.
She had more money anyway. And the little part of the Dreyfus Financial Fund. She had plenty of money before Seinfeld. Fine.
But and Johnny Galecki, I guess he's in. What's he in that show?
Big Bang Theory.
That show.
He's been on Roseanne, the reboot, a couple.
He was
times.
the highest paid actor on TV while he was doing Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Are they really?
But I love when they switch out the sons and the daughters all the time. I mean,
man.
Juliette Lewis was in this as well.
Yep.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
but
I
just
liked
as
her
a-
when she was young. I can't stand her as her career progressed.
who, Julie
Juliette
Lewis? Yeah.
Well, she did Cape Fear right after this.
Yeah.
I thought she was amazing.
She was
in
great.
TV.
She wasn't she nominated for an Oscar? I think she was. She was
I
great.
think she was. And then I don't think she got nominated again.
No, now she's at
She
a
was
rock
good
and roll
though
band.
in What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Yeah, that period of her career. But once she got later,
That was early on, yeah.
And then
Well,
she
she
was
started
in,
doing, she did the Oliver Stone movie and the California and all those kind of stuff. That
I
she
thought
did.
California was good.
Yeah.
she did that Woody Allen film, Husbands and Wives. I think it was.
I didn't
Was
see
one
that.
of them.
Was she in Parenthood too? I don't remember.
That feature.
Yeah, she was in Parenthood.
But
She
anyway,
was
it's
in
a tip.
Parenthood.
You guys talked about Home Alone. This is a typical John Hughes, very, very funny movie laced with character development and just wonderful feelings about family. And as Chevy Chase is playing, this caricature Griswold, but he brings a lot of warmth to that part. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in there that is not written in the page, but John Hughes always puts in his movies.
A little
And I just
connection to
like it.
Home
It gets me
Alone.
every time.
Little
What's
connection to
that?
Home Alone. Christopher Columbus was supposed to direct this movie, and he met with Chevy Chase a couple of times and went to John Hughes and said, "I cannot direct this guy. I do not want to direct this movie." And he hadn't done a big movie, so John Hughes said, "Okay, we'll take you off this and we'll put you on Home Alone." And Home Alone was
Wow.
a huge movie. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and everyone says that
Someone
about Chevy
didn't
Chase.
like working with Chevy Chase.
He did not want to work with Chevy Chase. He said it was going to be, he knew after 2 meetings, he was not going to be able to direct Chevy Chase. And everything you hear about the movie, as good as I think Chevy Chase is in it, he is incredibly difficult to work with because he wants
yeah.
things done certain
He's always
ways.
been.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Well,
his
listen,
style.
they were very deferential to Chevy Chase. He
Right.
wasn't there obviously during the track, right?
What's Chevy's problem?
Egomania,
Yeah, a
Well,
little bit.
yeah. He wants things.
hostility.
He wants.
He was doing
his done
things
his
like
way.
the little Galecki was saying that Chevy would be off screen and he'd point to him to tell him when to do the line so it's perfectly timed, so it's perfectly comedy timed. And he would tell Beverly D'Angelo, "Here's what I want you to do when you come out of the house, throw the glass in the yard. That'll be funny." He was very into telling them how comic timing should work. But they were all, they didn't speak, obviously. They're not going to speak a bad word about him on
Well, because they made
commentary.
millions from him.
Right.
Because without him, they wouldn't. But if you're a director,
And they did
directing the
2 more
movie-
after this one. This
Right.
was, I think, the second in the series.
Third.
I think.
European Vacation was number 2.
Was before this?
Europe,
What
yeah,
about Vegas?
yeah.
The only
Vegas was
movie I
after
liked
this.
are the first, this one in Vegas.
Oh, I didn't know they did.
Oh, I didn't know. They did.
Yeah, they
Vegas
did a
was
Vegas
funny.
vacation. Yeah.
Pick a hand. Remember they went to that casino?
That
Pick a
casino,
hand.
yeah. Pick a
We're
number
all-
between 1 and 3. And they always lose. The casino always won. Anyway, I could talk about it all day long, but I'd rather hear what you guys have to say because, I mentioned it when I did the roulette. I know this is a participation award thing, but anybody else who, Drew,
Well,
what do
I
you
want to
think?
say one thing because I'm going to ask you a question about
Okay.
the commentary track. Was Beverly D'Angelo on it?
Yes, she was.
Did she talk about that last group scene where she's holding Chevy's penis the whole
Yes, she
time?
did. Yes, she did.
I've watched this movie many times until I just heard her on a podcast. I didn't realize that she was grabbing his penis the whole time.
Well, that scene comes in, the SWAT team comes in, and they
Yeah.
go freeze, and she just grabs
You
him by
know,
the
I
thing.
noticed that. I didn't.
Boy, I didn't pick up on that.
Oh, you guys, it's great. I mean, she's in,
and then after she shakes hands with the
she
wife,
goes right back down.
He slams his penis.
Here, I'll dig it up while you guys talk about it. All right, I can dig
but
that
the
up.
funny thing is, the
I
director
don't need to
had
see it
no idea
again.
They were doing it. She was on
That's
the
my
other
show, Brad. If I want to show it, I'm going to show
You're
it.
right. It is your show.
All right.
It's all right.
And I think probably Wojo has her hand on your penis, your thing. So that's why you're not showing me.
Oh,
Is that what's going on?
God.
Come on.
Ralph's been drinking a little bit.
That, no, I have not. That's a funny scene, and they're all. If you see them, if you watch that scene again, they're all doing specific character things when they're frozen. Like Eddie's wife is protecting him because he kidnapped the guy, and there's Diane Lane is sitting on Ladd is sitting under somebody. You got to look at that scene again. And she asked the director if she could do that, and he said, "Yeah, go for it." And
Now, that's different than what she said in the podcast. She said that she did it with Chevy, and she did it on the last set of takes, and that the director didn't even notice it until they were editing.
Get out of here, because it's so obvious. I mean, it's. Well, I
I
guess it
didn't
isn't because
notice
you guys haven't seen it.
I didn't
Wow.
know. I didn't notice that.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Well, Drew, did you watch this one?
Well, you guys were talking about the director before, and I feel like I run really hot and cold on his movies. Like it's whether I connect with the characters and how much exposition there is, whether that enhances or retards the flow of the story. And so like I really didn't care for stuff like I didn't really care for Memento, but I loved The Prestige and Interstellar. I didn't care for Inception that much. And this one, Tenant, is sort of it's about time travel, which I really like movies about time travel. And, excuse me. And it reminded me, I don't know if you guys have seen, there's a movie, it's a Spanish language film called Time Crimes, and it has a lot of similar stuff of like, are you seeing yourself and what's happening when, and all that kind of stuff. This kind of time travel is weird because it's more about inverting people and inverting objects. That's how you travel through time, which is that's more complicated and less interesting than it might sound.
Well, I think Time Cop did it right with the big sled. I think that's how you got to go if you're going to travel through time.
And I see how that relates to this film, so I appreciate your outlook on this.
I think Drew
appreciate your
he
info.
made a valid
Good.
point, Ralph. I don't know.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Can I
Sean
tell
and
you my
Debbie, did you?
Time Cop story?
Did what?
What?
I want to tell you my Time Cop story. This taught me a very valuable lesson in Hollywood. A producer walked up to me. Well, I knew
It sounds like a joke. A producer walked into a bar.
No, this is a real story.
He walked into a
No,
bar.
a producer said to me, Sean, what did you think of the movie Time Cop? And I said, oh, God, I thought it sucked. And she goes, well, the producer wants to read your script. And I'm like, we really did have its moments.
Oh, you meant Time Cop.
Oh,
Time
yeah.
Cop. Fun Time.
That was good. I
You
like
mentioned that story.
You never said a bad word.
I thought you said mime cop. Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought you said cop and a half.
That sucked. Oh, I don't want
That
to say
did suck. Time Cop was good.
So, John, do you find this to be a family-friendly film?
I do actually. I mean, look, the last scene is just a ripoff of the first movie. That's why they do it, right? Because that was one of the funniest scenes in that first movie was when he went off in the car. So of course they got to copy that for this one. But to me, and we talked about this last week, what I love about this movie, the whole movie is about he just wants his kids to have a great Christmas. That's what he wants. The whole,
his whole
movie,
family, not
with
just his
everything else that's happening around him, and he's hilarious in it. His facial that scene with the gorgeous woman in the store when he's getting flubbed up his words, that's a funny scene. And then the kid catches him, and he realizes the kid's looking at him. I love it. I think it's funny, and I think it's all about family. In the end, when they're all watching all the chaos and the fire, the sled with the fire on it, and even Cousin Eddie, who is just this reprehensible character, did something really nice for Clark by bringing the boss in.
Wow, yeah,
He ended up saving the day.
Kidnapping the guy.
Whatever.
The boss, yeah.
But I did. I mean, it's watching it again. It's like there are moments in it that are really family oriented, right?
Right.
About Christmas. That's what I love about this movie. With all the chaos and all the slapstick, there are real moments of genuine warmth in the movie amongst all the chaos, and that's why I think it's a movie you could watch every Christmas and still enjoy it. So I did. I like it. I love it a lot.
I do not disagree. Wojo and Brad, what do you guys?
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I enjoyed the movie.
Oh, that's wait a
I
minute.
feel like I need to see every Christmas. It's if you're going to talk about Christmas movies, I'd prefer to see every Christmas. I'd watch Home Alone again before I watch this again.
Great Christmas movie. I think When Harry Met Sally is a great Christmas holiday movie.
What do you
Well,
think of Harry Met
we
Sally?
can bring.
It's okay, but I mean, John was talking about the scene at the jewelry store. I feel like that's like every single Chevy Chase movie they do that. Like with it's kind of predictable.
But
and-
not with the kid there. That's what made that funny to me. The kid's looking at him, and then, hey, Rusty,
yeah,
and he got caught.
yeah. I mean, there were some funny parts in it. I did not find it to be the best movie, the best Christmas movie I've ever seen.
Okay.
I agree with that statement, Brad.
Well,
That's fair.
I do agree with that statement.
That's
I gotta say, I love this film. I just
Oh,
think
there you go.
it's a family film.
Yeah.
It just the one scene that cracks me up every time is Randy Quaid in his Speedos, leopard Speedos, with he's filling up
his open bathrobe.
and he's got his T-shirt tucked in his Speedos.
That's at the pool scene where.
Oh my God, I laughed so hard. I mean,
Clark is dreaming about the woman. They're all playing at the pool.
He shows up.
Hilarious.
Now, did you guys know the little girl, the little Rose, I forget her name, who comes up? Is there a Santa Claus? That cute little girl is the girl from Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no,
I
I
had
didn't
no
know
idea.
And she
Ruby Rose in
she
this
was
film.
in a couple other things, and then she quit. And I can't remember if she became an advocate for child actors
Oh, wow.
because of some experience she had. So,
Shenanigans going on the set.
I
working
think it
late.
was more not being
Was it more
taken advantage
financial?
of physically, but I think it was just having.
Oh, the way they get abused.
Well, there's a lot of scenes in
this.
this film where Johnny Galecki couldn't be in the scene because it was later than. As a matter of fact, that scene where Clark first turns the lights on, and he has all the lights go on, and he goes down the line and hugs everybody, and he comes up, he goes, Rusty, Audrey. He wasn't even in the scene. He just said the name because the kid was sleeping somewhere. A lot of good insight in the commentary. I just really like this film. Drew, any more thoughts on this one?
One of the problems they have with a movie is that you can't understand what's happening in it. You know what I mean?
Drew, I don't know. What are you saying?
When you're inverted, you have to wear an oxygen mask so you don't suffer on the air.
Do you have a stake in this film? Because
well, the problem is that there's a lot of talking through masks that you can't hear, and the audio mix is already really against.
Yeah, his mixes are always funky. Yeah.
He's been doing that since The Dark Knight, especially Dunkirk now and Tenant.
Yeah,
and so it gets mixed too low, and you got a lot of people talking.
Drew, is this week your turn? Is that why you're doing this? Because your turn was skipped over.
No, John. Actually, was last week. He's reversing into this. So he did Christmas Vacation 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Actually, in the future, and we brought him back in.
So can you take what he did on the other one and insert it in this?
That's what we're going to do, but then it's going to be backwards. He'll be talking
it'll be
backwards.
inverted.
It'll be very strange.
All right, it's going to be inverted.
Well, I have a question for everyone. What W have something?
Yeah, I got something to say. So,
But you have a question. Wait, you have a question, and Debbie's going to ask it. Is that?
It's going to be time travel and religion.
Okay. It's going to have something to do with DNA.
We're going there. Okay. So I had an idea, so if you have a relationship that's not working out for you, maybe
this is for Ralph?
Maybe a child or it's a weird person.
Oh, okay, not a husband?
Or a husband, maybe. But say you're estranged. So here's an idea. You go knock on their door and you say, oh, I just went back in the future because I invented a time machine and I went back and I fixed it all, and it'll get to you and you'll be happy to see me now in about 5 minutes, because that's when the time travel will take its effect. You like that idea?
Yeah, but you see how I'm shaking my head?
Did everyone else have edibles or something before this?
Yeah, do you see? I'm
Understand what
shaking
the
my
hell
head.
is
I'm
going
like,
on?
Am I in the wrong podcast right now? What is going
and
Drew's
that's well,
Drew
this is the
started with
feeling
his
you have when you
I
watch.
want to tell us, if I do have a serious question for everybody. I do want to say something
what?
that she did that I thought was hilarious. Her mother was in the hospital, and she drove to Ohio to see her, but didn't tell her she was there. And so she calls her on the cell phone, and she's talking to her mother, saying, "How are you feeling?" and all. And she goes to her mother, goes, "Hey, what's this button on here that says teleport? I wonder if I should touch it." And her mother's like, "No, don't touch that button." And she goes, "I'm going to touch it." And she touched it.
I said, "Here, I'm going to touch it." And with that touching and with that saying, I opened the room to her hospital bed. And I said, "You see, Mom, it's the teleportation." She goes, "Oh my God."
I'd like to go back in time to the beginning of this podcast.
Can you tell that we're at the? Can you tell
Because I
we're at the end?
suddenly became busy this evening.
I
This is
was
the
going
last.
to bring up, I thought the funniest scene is the movie when he passed remember the old days with the bulbs, when he passed that giant ball of the wound up bulbs and he goes,
Yeah.
"Hey, Rusty, why don't you clear this up?"
He goes, bit of a knot.
You have to check every bulb. Got a little knot here. You work on that.
Got a little bit of a
bit of
knot.
a knot.
Yeah.
That was
My
like the
father
old
always
days.
made me look
Look.
for the lights, make sure the lights were all working.
Eddie was great in Vacation, the first one. Okay. But he was out of his mind in this one. He was great. And they were talking about he walks around half the movie with an Evian bottle in his pants too. Now I got to watch the movie to look for, because Randy Quaid is nuts. But in this, he was great in this. And
I like the
woman playing
shirt
his
when
wife,
you could see the undershirt,
The dickie.
the little
The
square.
big
Yeah,
dickie.
you see the black
So
dick.
Oh yeah, with a white shirt with a black dickie. Yeah.
so many good things going on in here.
I have a question. Why is Drew talking about a different movie? In all honesty, I don't understand.
Oh, time travel.
I have no idea what you're talking about. It
Let me
seems
say something. So
Here we
in a
go.
lot of the interviews, Christopher Nolan has said, I'm a big influence of mine is Michael Mann. Now I love Michael Mann. He did Heat and a lot of other The Inside, a lot of incredible
Manhunter.
movies.
Didn't you do Manhunter?
I don't know if you guys ever saw Black Hat. That was his movie with Chris Hemsworth.
No.
that was supposed to be really bad.
It's basic. Well, yeah, it's a good comparison because it's like all these things happening against striking urban architecture, but you don't really know what's going on. And that's what Tenant feels like. It's actually, it might almost be a clever
Right.
movie. I'm not sure the story of what's happening and what and why, but it doesn't really come through in the movie. I mean, there are like really important plot points and revelations that are single lines that you don't hear, and sometimes you don't even realize you missed it until you read a review or something later. And it's very frustrating.
I'm telling you, I watched the
Such
film
ambition,
and
not
I'm
really-
like, what is going on? And
That's
the
what
guy
I'm
playing the
thinking right
lead,
now.
not the lead, but the guy playing the bad guy.
What's going
Who's
on?
that actor? English
Kenneth
guy.
Branagh
Was fantastic.
as the
But
Russian.
Drew, do you think in a future episode you'll bring Tenant to the table?
I would be very happy to bring this to a future episode, and I just did.
Hey, whoa. So wait a minute,
Well, if
Mike.
they're going to do that. So remember that scene in When Harry Met Sally?
I'm going to mute you guys. Mute. Where's the mute? That's
No,
not a
my
holiday.
question is,
Go ahead.
at what point did you stop thinking Chevy Chase was funny? I
In
would
real
have
life, you mean in the movie or in real life?
in movies.
Oh,
I
in
would
movies.
say that this was the last movie I thought he was funny in, but that's because I thought this came after Las Vegas Vacation.
He was
But
actually
I tell you what,
He was in one other movie where his wife was where he was playing a writer.
Oh, that's Funny Farm. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
George
I
Roy
liked
Hill.
that. I thought he was good in that.
Yeah, the mailman's great in that.
he
but
was good in the
is-
first season
Chevy
of
Chase-
Community. He was really funny in that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
He was
was.
good.
Oh, they hated
He was
him.
good.
I know they hated him,
But
but he
he's-
was
They all
funny.
hated him
He's-
too, yeah.
But he's starting to do a shtick now. He's also in Hot Tub Time Machine. Did you ever see that classic?
Yeah. He plays
Oh,
the
yeah.
repairman, right?
He plays a repairman. You know,
Yeah.
Chevy was always the smartest guy in the room in his own mind. From what I understand from the way they talk about how he talks about comedic timing and all that stuff. So, but this, I just really enjoy him.
I thought he was great in this, but
I think
Cops
he's
and
fabulous.
Robertsons, did you ever see that?
Yeah,
That's just a bad film. I mean, is that his
No.
fault or writing, directing?
No,
What-
he had a lot of bad shtick in it. I
Yeah.
mean, I thought I was like with my jaw open watching that film saying, didn't anyone realize that this wasn't working?
Well,
at
if you
all?
watch Fletch,
He's very
Fletch
good.
has so
Fletch.
much shtick. Yeah, he's very good, but it's all shtick. It's his shtick that he does
He does
all
a
the
lot
time.
of shtick, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I think this is a fun one for the last podcast in 2020. Yippee-Ki-Yay Mother Podcast from 2020. Drew, do you have anything else you'd like to say before we wrap this one up?
Well, actually, you guys were talking about penises before, and I don't know. You were talking about the last movie that Chevy Chase was funny in. You guys remember Nothing But Trouble?
Oh yeah, with Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd takes his nose off, and it looks just
Yeah.
like a penis, and Chevy Chase is really confused.
Dan Aykroyd directed that.
Yeah, I think that movie is funny.
A friend of mine was working with Dan
That's your
Aykroyd.
last word for 2020. That's it.
I would love to know what Joe actually thinks of Christmas Vacation.
I'll have what he's having.
Oh,
Thank you.
you know what? That deserves a ring. That was good. Mojo, I got to give you that one. All right. So,
Let me just tell the Chevy. I have one story. A friend of mine worked with not Chevy Chase, with Dan Aykroyd on a
what's your
movie.
friend's name?
I don't want to give it
Okay.
because it's not a fun, But
It's Schmevy
it's
Schmace.
It's the week that Nothing But Trouble came out, and Chevy addressed the cast and crew that morning, and he said, "Hey, I just want to tell you, my movie Nothing But Trouble's coming out today. If you want to see it, I would try to catch it this weekend."
Yeah, it was bad. Demi Moore was in that too. It was terrible.
Oh, she was horrible in
Yeah.
it too.
Was it Demi or was she Demi?
She was Demi back then.
Yeah.
Just
I don't know what she is now.
So Ralph, we're not doing one next week because you said this is the last one for this year.
This will.
This
Well,
is a
then
week before
There's still another week before
Christmas
the
and New
ends.
Year's.
Well, we'll do it, but I won't put it out
Well,
till
I mean,
after.
if you want, I can go back. We can do more episodes.
Yeah. Drew, can you do something to get us back a
Like-
couple weeks so we have another one?
Absolutely, I'll take care of that. for
Drew,
you.
Got it.
You
you
won't know
better
till it's
do.
over.
You better do the exact same thing for that strange thing that you guys do after this one.
That's called Movie Strain.
No,
Movie
we-
strange. I want to see
did
the
it.
whole Tenant thing again.
We did it already.
Oh,
It's been done.
They
All
did
right.
it already
So
next week.
listen, everybody have a nice holiday. Christmas is in a few days.
for those
couple
who
days
celebrate
from
Christmas,
now.
have a very Merry Christmas, you guys.
Merry
Nice
Christmas.
holidays. Now we're going back to our regular rotation starting next podcast, which either I think we may take a break and then do it in the fall in the new year or not.
The fall? We're going to do it in the fall?
No, when it falls on whatever day it falls on. When I say it's
So
gonna
are
be
we
on.
not recording one next week?
We can if you guys
We
want
don't
to, but it
have
won't.
to.
It won't come out
Depends how
until
bad the movie is you're going to pick.
I'm about to tell you what the movie is.
It's going to be from 1971, so let's see.
Nope. Drum roll, please. Starring Robert De Niro, Charles Grodin.
Oh,
Anybody?
Midnight Run.
Midnight Run.
great movie.
Oh, you'll like that. You've seen that, Michelle.
Great movie.
Yeah. Michelle,
I don't know
Sean
if I've
says you're
seen
going to
it.
like it.
Yeah,
You don't know
but-
if you've
Did you
seen
see
Midnight
this in the
Run?
future?
Oh,
It
it's
is
so
one
good.
of my. It is one of my favorite movies that I haven't yet seen.
He's going to see it now. So that'll be
Does
the
it
next
involve
film we
time
do.
travel?
It involves
bit of a-
travel.
it does involve
It does
travel.
involve a lot of travel. And then we'll get back on our regular rotation, starting with me, which has been Midnight Run, and then we'll figure out what the order is.
Oh,
And plenty of great guests next year in the podcast.
Yes.
If you guys can pull that off, that'd be fantastic.
I can pull
I
it
sent
off.
a list 3 weeks ago. You didn't send
I
it, Michelle? You didn't
No, I
send your
think-
bio.
I think that went right in my spam. That went into my spam folder. Let me check. I'll check my spam folder. It might have gone in
Actually, I got another message from the guy on Twitter with
there. The guy on Twitter, one guy.
3
the,
days.
Yeah,
the
okay,
3-day weekend
the
movie.
3-day weekend.
Oh, okay.
It's so
You know, speaking of messages, I've got a message for all of our fans.
Oh.
Please subscribe, share, like. We want to 2021. We'd like every video to be like Young Frankenstein with over almost 8,000 views.
It's unbelievable.
Okay.
nice.
Yeah, we would love that. And listen to us and tell people about us. We got a great show here. I mean, tonight wasn't one of the shows that's great, but, but in general, we do some great shows. So please.
This show is no different than all our other shows. So let's
No,
just
I-
be
Could you
fair.
put that clip at the beginning of
I
the
disagree. I disagree.
I would try that, but you guys can't handle the professional things I need to do to make that happen. It gets too complicated.
Oh, professional things. Yeah.
Professional.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Like that Ecamm
happy
debacle.
New Year, everybody. I'm glad 2020 is almost over.
Merry
to be
Christmas,
honest.
Happy New Year to
Yeah.
all of our fans.
Everybody have
Happy
safe.
New
I hope
Year.
everybody's safe.
To all my mother podcasters.
There you go.
This was
I think
dedicated.
I'm going to cry.
This fine show was dedicated to your uncle, so I hope he's
My
proud
uncle
of it.
Abbas de Birsiagi.
One more.
Rest in peace.
Rest in
Rest
peace.
in peace.
Rest in power. Rest in power,
Rest in
uncle.
power.
Rest in power.
Okay. Okay, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New
New
Year.
Year.
Happy New Year.